Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Stasis Bone Totem, where today we're gonna get real heavy right away. This is the promise of the Bone Totem. Oh boy, alright. Boy, putting that key in there spawned the what do you call this? Not the lock, the whatever it is, the bit that you plug the key into as well, because that certainly was not there before.
I am Moses. I am Hope's best friend.
Hope isn't here, Moses.
Ah, yes. I remember. The water. I do not like water. She tried to...
Head up to the top of the rig. I need you to squeeze through an open door there.
I will not see Hope again.
Head up to the top of the rig. Get through the door. Now.
Yes, Mac.
Mac has very little patience for this. This is bizarre. This is a deeply bizarre turn of events.
I miss Hope, Charlie.
I do too.
I miss playing with her.
I do too.
Is it wrong to wish I could stop missing her? Sometimes I feel guilty for wishing it.
No, I think that, it isn't wrong at all.
My Charlie.
Criminy. Also, who programmed this bear to be able to feel guilt? Why would you do oh.
I do not like water. In water, you are powerless.
Ooh. Also, can I tell you, I hate this bear's run animation. And to be clear, I don't want that to read as a criticism. I think the developers did a really good job of making this real unsettling. And it's definitely on purpose. I don't like looking at it.
Water here. Water is unsafe. I do not like water.
It'll be dry inside. I promise, Mose.
My Charlie. Charlie Mac, I am inside.
Okay. Now you need to get to the control room. It's on the other side of that bulkhead.
From like a story and theme perspective, the bear is kind of fascinating as an artifact of like the combination of guilt and trauma over a lost child. You're just like carrying around this physical object that is like the literalization of all of the damage that is done to you, and then you need to rely on it to help you solve puzzles. Like, I don't mean to keep laughing because obviously like the subject matter here is incredibly serious and dour. It's just like, it's so serious and dour that I don't even know how else to process it, especially while trying to, do a let's play. Okay. You have cartons of non-processed food stuffed into these containers and in theory, kept relatively safe from water damage. The interior radiates an unusually high heat, made worse by a pungent aroma of rot that permeates the air. Yeah, all the non-processed food in the high heat would not be great. Many months' worth of leaks, from rain to faulty pipes generally maintained by regular upkeep, have flooded the floors and doused the interior with humidity. Soggy pieces of detritus float in the thin film of liquid muck that covers the floor. Pipes, likely ferrying boiling water, are distilled from the ocean below. This is a grim, horrible place. And I am a grim, horrible creature within it. Let's see what's over here.
This place smells bad. I would like to go home now.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Language, Mac.
I know, Moses. It's okay. We'll leave soon. I promise.
I will leave soon.
Well, the rats are still alive. That's promising. At least this area is survivable. We know that. And like, if there's some kind of hostile creature or something, rats could absolutely survive in an environment with a hostile creature. Rats are great survivors. But what the rats being alive tells us is that, like, we're not dealing with any kind of horribly destructive pathogen or anything like that, probably. A series of notice boards displaying a variety of materials, rotation schedules, a notice of arrivals and departures of staff, notifications and sign-ups for crew activities, a TV schedule, and regulation reminders are dotted around adverts for company products, and also some personalized iconography. Yeah, there are a bunch of these, like, notice boards all over the place. Let's see here. We have a list of names from an ongoing pool tournament here. Winner gets their choice of shift rotations for 2 months. See captain for betting pool numbers. Okay, so this gives us the names of some people and approximately how good they are at pool relative to each other. Just gonna take a screenshot of that. It might not be meaningful. It might just be, like the descriptive text said, a memory of a simpler time when problems were, you know, less. But I'd like that for my records too. It's nice to remember. The unwelcome aroma of damp intermingling with rot permeates this room. A scene of chaos, with furniture driven aside and handfuls of paper left to disintegrate in the standing water blanketing the floor. Yeah, something...
This is not safe for children to eat.
Look at that. Food's still on the plates.
Yeah. They left in a hurry.
Or didn't leave at all.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. The forlorn pool table was shoved to the side. Dampness has copiously ruined the felt, and mold has claimed much of the remaining base. What have we over here? Take a look. I found a VHS. Did I walk over a VHS on my way over here? I didn't even see it on the ground. Huh. Well, I mean, as always, just in case. So it does seem like something went down quick, right? It seems to me like they were preparing for something bad. You know, as evinced by the cargo crates with personal effects loaded out. Like, they were getting ready to leave, or at least to be ready to leave. And then something went awry way faster than they were expecting. That's my current read. A web of glass fractures burst outward from an impact point in this window. Most likely done with one of the nearby chairs. The windows here are heavy-duty glass, considering it hasn't shattered despite its damage. Yeah, this seems to be true of all of the glass on the outside of the rig, right?
Kitchens can be dangerous places. Utensils, sharp objects, and powered equipment should always be stored safely.
And it sure wasn't here. A befouled collection of mugs, plates, and utensils, all caked with a thick layer of rotten leftovers. The stink is invasive and aggressive, and proximity would invoke profound nausea in a creature that was capable of it. We have some water bottles up here. Water bottles reserved for cooking. Whatever chemicals were mixed into the water have long since begun to separate, spreading a sickly stain within the interior. A small mountain of plastic, cutlery, plates, and bowls lies trapped within and underneath this overturned rack. I really like this combination of the visuals and the descriptive text. I think they've worked out a balance here that's very compelling. Sickly green mold has spread across the rotting food. Because, like, you could try to render this all in more up-close detail, the way that, like, a modern AAA title might. But I think there's actually a lot of value in doing it intentionally at a remove with words so that the viewer's brain can fill in some percentage of the detail themselves, because they're going to make it much more unpleasant for themselves in whatever particular way is unpleasant for them than you would, for sure. Rows and piles of processed foods and company-mandated ingredients, conspicuously untouched in a kitchen otherwise stripped of supplies. Actually, that is kind of interesting, isn't it? What have we here? My Smart Bear PDA system. Sid Cookie Monster Mason, the chef. My Christmas lunch menu is Peruvian string beans and oyster soup, followed by prime rib and pickled eggs, with a chestnut-dressed salad on the side. Dessert will be cloverleaf rolls dipped in honey. Double rations for your drinking pleasure. Huh. This could be good. It sounds alright. I don't love pickled eggs, but I know people like stuff. Honestly, pickling's kind of like... Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to turn my nose up at anybody's tastes. I caught a glimpse of Dr. K's new pet this morning. She's been growing some tumorous meatballs in Baron's lab. I swear I heard her cooing to it, as though it were a newborn, while she carried it around in a napkin. Her obsession with mixing her bodily fluids into whatever organic morsels she can find is getting to me. While cooking breakfast this morning, I suddenly panicked that she'd somehow contaminated the ingredients. And not long ago, I found one of her fish in the extended storage freezers, covered in pustules. A weird mucus-like goop crawled out of its gills and across the drawer interior. I swear to God, its dead eyes were staring at me as if pleading. I asked Steve to toss it, burn the drawer, and order a replacement, but I can still smell the thing, no matter how much I wash. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more detail on what's going on with the lab, and, yeah, concern. Also, how spooky is this bear? Why on earth would you put this? I guess it's supposed to maybe be like the idea of a reflection on the eye. But just talking about this in terms of like this being a real world toy that was manufactured for children, this definitely gives the impression of like a cocked down eyebrow in a way that makes the bear's expression read way more menacing. Good game design for the horror game, bad toy design for the real world, for the fake company inside the horror game. I was asked to whip up a batch of goodnight juice for Kurt. Still having those bad dreams. A tasty blend of synthetic opioids, cough syrup, sedative hypnotics, and essential oils will have him sleeping like a baby in stasis. Hey, that's the name of the thing. So they were drugging Kurt, which is maybe not great given the state he was in. I am genuinely happy that I went through all that effort to get a transfer topside. I was cooking down there long enough to get a whiff of what they were digging up. Imagine being in lockdown there. And I wonder if Abdulaziz is okay. I doubt we still count as friends after the way we parted, but I wouldn't want anything terrible to happen to him. You know, it's that synth asshole Corbin who keeps me from visiting. Gotta say, it's been a luxury not needing to worry about random security inspections, cavity searches, or its dipshit attitude. I'm no longer a holy man, but I've been praying that some Black Ops thug mistakes him for a toaster and puts a few rounds in his plastic face for target practice. Yeah, that would put a smile on my dial. That's a very strange phrase. So we saw somebody say skin job earlier, and I didn't want to jump to the conclusion that they were using it in the Blade Runner sense, but at this point it's clear that they were using it in the Blade Runner sense. Great news! The company rescue boat, Sebastian, is being prepped for departure. We've been tasked with loading boxes of reports and crates of artifacts aboard. There's barely enough space on deck for all this treasure, so I'm not sure where we'll batten down. The ship's crew seem to shudder with disgust whenever they look at us. They aren't even Navy. These guys look like bullet stoppers. Whatever, I'm too tired to care, and I'm glad most of us will be off this miserable platform in an hour. I hope Abdulaziz joins us. And then this is... So I think it is probably the case that the section of everybody's PDA logs where we see entries erased remotely is probably supposed to be the same. It's probably supposed to line up temporally, right? We know that these are the same moments in history. And that helps us sort of anchor everything around them in the timeline. So yeah, they were being rescued already. Something was wrong. The station was not, the rig was not sustainable. For some reason, they already had to be rescued. And it was a, like, not all that stressful situation. It was like, we have to go, but it's not a desperate moments matter emergency. And then after the Sebastian arrived, it became a desperate moments matter emergency. Yeah, I guess we're part of the collateral after all. As the ship departed, I saw Baron and several executives watching us plead, the way a child watches a worm eat an insect from the inside. This was the first time I allowed myself to really see his face. It'll stay with me to the grave. Cap D is called a strategy meeting. An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its leg to escape. We will survive this. Together. And then, they didn't, obviously. So the Sebastian came and went. It did manage to leave. We know that at least. Okay, I'm assuming this is the other door in the hallway that we didn't go through. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Let's see what's up here.
The floor is slippery here. Children should be cautious.
A pair of tanks containing compressed air. One tank seems to have recently sprung a leak, likely due to a lack of maintenance. Yeah, and it would have to be recent, otherwise there wouldn't still be stuff coming out of it.
You're small. Find a way in.
I will try. My Mac.
The specific details of the bear's face, pretty unsettling. So the fan is slow mode or fast mode. We don't get an off setting. That's a bummer. So yeah, we have these things. Do we have a screwdriver? Sometimes Mac puts a magnet on my head to hold his beer. Poor guy. When I say poor guy, I mean both Mac and the bear. Hold on. What else can we get from the bear's point of view? This is a metal stick for reaching under chairs so that Charlie can retrieve toys. Screwdrivers are not toys. No, because they will poke your eye out. Well, I feel like we can remove these.
Goodness. This could cause injury if it lays here.
I'm gonna cause injury to you if you keep spouting out public service announcements. This is a deep sea installation. Everything on it's dangerous, okay?
Just ignore him, Mose.
Bye, Charlie.
Okay, so... I mean, I could just, like, jam something in there, right? My concern is that I no longer have the ability to, there's no longer an interact circle here. So I'm thinking that it probably won't, that's probably not what we're looking at as a solution. But this switch only has 2 settings. Every time I switch it... Oh, okay, this is falling apart. Let me just... play with it till it breaks.
I'll say this for him, he breaks things apart really well.
Thank you, Mac.
That seems kind of dangerous, but alright, we'll just hurry on past that. You know, my mom always warned me. Okay.
I'm in the control room.
Good work, Mose. Now, can you find an access point and override the security lock?
Am I allowed to do that, Charlie?
We're giving you permission.
Can he do that?
Yeah, he can. I've, kind of improved his design. He's a very smart bear now.
I am a very smart bear now.
Hold on, what was written on the windows? Help me. Cool. Morbidly, it seems the staff were abandoned along with the facility. Is there any other stuff written around the windows? Numerous clumps of paper lying on the damp floor, slowly congealing into soft mush. Oh, here's a corpse. That's fun. Actually, a couple of corpses. How's Mose gonna handle, this? The humid air has resulted in the skin being pulled taut to the bone. The back of the chair is visible through the bullet wound.
Hello, I am Moses. What is your name?
Moses found another body.
Getting a really bad feeling here.
Just a little further.
I mean, that says bullet wound. I do feel like we should be concerned. Oh, we found the sentry gun. This is where they set it up. Programmed to autonomously aim and fire at targets identified by its genetic sensors. Okay. There are a series of work terminals and readouts, from long-range and local communications to weather readouts and structure integrity reports. But unfortunately, only one seems to be powered. Let's have a look at this PDA here. Oh, this is Captain Husking. Okay. You will all make indulgences to our representative, Baron, as if he were Kane himself. Okay, so there's a person, Kane, not just a sort of personified corporation. And this is a classified message. This is a classified message to Husking? Or from... I think this is a received message. So from, you know, the Sebastian or whatever. Probably. Or whoever sent the Sebastian. Message to the crew. As of this 0800 hours, the mule has initiated quarantine. Supplies and water will be rationed, so listen up, Fuzznuts. If this is your first quarantine experience, crockery only gets washed once per day after evening chow. One flush only. Get used to the shitter smell or pucker up. You get one freshwater shower a day. I'll be keeping an eye on the meters. One meal pack per employee per shift. These restrictions do not apply to corporates. We'll adjust rationing to accommodate their schedule and proclivities. I'll be hassling the mule for updates on how long this will last. Hopefully it's only a drill like last time. I gotta say, as far as quarantine and rationing goes, this is very gentle. Personal log. It's been 3 weeks since this lockdown quarantine bullshit started. Somebody really humped the bunk. I miss you, Yvette. I hope you're safe down there. Well, you know what I'm really not looking forward to is the part where we definitely will end up having to go down to whatever is deep below the sea. 25 days in and still no updates. Not a word from Yvette. Message to the crew. The banging and shouting you've been hearing over the last hour would be the unannounced arrival of a SEC team. The ship they arrived on, the Sebastian, is moored to the DS-15 Dock 5, which is out of bounds. Do not screw with these guys. They stormed the facility like they were raiding a goddamn drug lab and had itchy trigger fingers for anyone standing in their way. These war chickens are taking orders directly from corporate. The rest of us are just in the way. I'm available if you have any questions or concerns, but keep your eyes open for God's sake, and keep your distance. So this is sometime after, like, roughly a month of quarantine. Alright, keep it together, Don. Your crew needs you. If that'll be fine. Message to the crew. I've got more bad news. The Weather Service has alerted us to a mother of a large shitstorm approaching our mobile Chernobyl from the southwest. Our own ping jockeys predict we got about 9 hours before it hits, so tend to any hatches and bulkheads. You know the drill. Get those supplies strapped down or brought in, and make sure your assigned cargo has been mag-locked. I want everything shipshape. Let's not take any chances here. This storm looks like an angry one, and the grunt work will help us keep our minds off things. And then we have 49 log entries erased remotely, so whatever happened during a huge storm. Attention! With the storm rocking in 2 hours, we were given the marching order. Pack up your shit and get to Dock 5 in 30 minutes, no exceptions. Move it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it happened right before the storm hit. Kane's reign. Someone at HQ didn't want us talking and flipped a kill switch. All outgoing net functionality is dead with a single exception. Kane Luna. It's the only place our hardware is talking to right now. By the looks of it, it's a hell of a conversation. Mule comms are still good, but our broadcast blackout means they're also cut off from the rest of the world. And I'm starting to think that's the point. The mule hardline died. No more chatter from Kane Luna. Screams from maintenance. Part of me regrets not boarding the Sebastian when it left, but I couldn't abandon my crew. Or Yvette. It's nice to have her close, even like this. I keep wondering if I could have saved her if I'd fought my way down earlier. And rationally, I know they'd have shot me, shot both of us. But maybe it would have been better to die together instead of just finding her too late. I'll meet my maker soon. Waiting is agony. I'm just too tired for it. But I think it would be nice to watch the fireworks with her. To sit together one last time before everything comes crashing down, listening to our hearts beat in tune as we join the Nexus. So then this'll be... yeah. The shimmering plastic of the body bag bulges as though the contents are straining to get out. And it's interactable. Fun. Let me try interacting with the computer systems over here before I do anything with that. Huh. Okay, so we've got a busted up readout for the mule over here. I'll just bear my way in, I guess. There you go. First things first, security lockdown.
Connection secure. Firewall override. Access granted.
Improved. I see what you mean. He's actually useful now.
Mac, please be nice.
It's a damn toy.
Not to her. He wasn't.
Exterior and interior bulkheads are cycling pre-checks. Please be patient.
Mag doors are gonna open.
Except, yeah. And this sentry gun... okay, I just clicked. It just... now it just has a check. I don't really know what to make of that. I was expecting to be able to fiddle with settings or something. Okay, well, I guess that's all we can do there. So what's up with the sentry gun now?
Guns are not toys.
Okay, so we have a power cell. Unfortunately, our power cell charger is probably not functional anymore, right? All things in the world need batteries to work, but do not put them in your mouth. There's also a disk drive here, which I guess is where you would put the DNA samples? Alright, well, we gotta find a fresh battery for this thing. Alright, perhaps against my better judgment, let's check out the body bag. This enthusiastically barred door hints at the size of the facilities within. The elevator is barricaded with timber panels and braced with welded steel plates. Jeez. What is that? Ooh. Okay.
Children should not try this.
That's just an entire... okay. Wow. That doesn't feel like we should have that. I don't... okay. Feels a little disrespectful to have taken it, right? Alright, let's pop back over to the others. Let's see where we can get to now that that's been dealt with. Just kind of get away from this stuff. Security implant required. Well, the biopower heart source is still functional. It's too bad this one's mostly meat and veins. I mean, this thing's gotta have a security implant, right? Sure, Mac can charge this old power cell. That'll be Mac's problem. Does that work? It does not. Yeah, right in the center is where we would click, so I guess that's not gonna run. And we know what all this stuff over here does, right? We have the body itself and the PDA and the notice. If we crawled back out, she didn't see a real door anywhere, right? I don't think so. Alright, let me switch over to Mac. So this thing is all fucked up. Give me that battery. Right, we can put the cell in here. But I'm going to need to replace the lost fuse before I can do anything else with it. It does seem like the power source could just be ripped clear of the... I guess,
What is it?
Separated the power source from this heart. It was completely embedded into the meat.
Wash your hands, Mac.
That's actually really good advice, thank you. Well, I'll just jam this in here, shall I? No, I shall not. That does not work. That makes sense. It shouldn't work, but... Wait, so if I hit this, can I... Nope. It's not a matter of timing it. Well... Yeah. The best screwdrivers have comfortable handles. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. I'm fixing to peg a dolphin clean in the noggin with this beauty. So apparently it wasn't even an anger thing. It was just that he thinks it's rad to throw screwdrivers at dolphins. It's not, by the way. That's bad. Well, that being the case... Hold on, let me go back to the bear here. I can't just jam the power cell straight into the... Right? Probably not. No, okay. Can't jam it into the disk slot either. Huh. So we've done that. We've got a place to put the battery that will, in theory, allow it to charge, but... Shit is very fucked. And then we've got you inside here. An elevator that is still reading out of order, requiring a security implant. This thing won't work now either, right now. I didn't figure, but maybe I'm missing something. Hey, can I borrow that screwdriver? Let me just pry this panel off. No, doesn't work. Okay. Let me... Now that the power is back on... Oh, I bet this is a security implant. The thing in the guy's hand. Alright, let me... Now that the lights are on, you can see the sigils carved in the flesh a little bit more clearly. Alright, I don't love this, but you know... Okay, that's a hell of a thing that just occurred there. I'm gonna leave now. That was weird. Don't mention that to anybody else. They're not gonna be happy with the thing that happened there. Okay. So we have a disabled security implant with what looks like a power space, or a power cell receptacle that this will fit into.
That actually worked.
What did you do, Charlie?
Just mimicked the sound of a human heart to get this security implant to work. Nothing big.
So smart, Charlie.
I see why you keep him around.
It appears that the remaining power is limited to a single use. I want to see what the bear thinks of that. I want to draw on this with my crayons. Fair enough. Alright. Let's do it. Unable to cycle elevator doors. Oh, shit. Okay. That's the only spot. I mean, I could just... There you go. You know what's good for computer circuits? Great big magnet. They love that shit. Oh, cool. Clumps of dried viscera still cling to the ground here, the sight and scent of which make your primal instincts spike. The hope that the splatter was caused by a dropped corpse is hardly comforting. but the alternative is too terrible to consider. Putrid excretions have stained the canvas sheets of the body bags. Dark shapes occasionally brush against the underwater lights, only hinting at their size and form as they slide through the water. That could just be normal fish.
Oh, Jesus. I got 2 more bodies here.
Like the ones upstairs?
No. No, these are worse. And they're in body bags.
I'm getting really close to calling this Charlie.
Well, we have a sense of some of what has happened here. It's a boarding bridge for the... Oh, that's the diving bell. The blood trail suggests that at least one of the bodies was extracted from the bell when it surfaced, which we have reason to believe is a thing that occurred. Undersea lamps illuminate the water's surface, shards of brightness flickering at the tips of the waves. Still, beyond a few feet, visibility is consumed by the abyssal darkness of the ocean. Is there anything else over here? The steel walls curve to mirror the interior, a metallic cage to confine whatever may emerge from the depths below. And always with the damn hanging chains. Why are there so many hanging chains on ships? I don't know a lot about ships and really been on anything larger than like a speedboat. But why do they always need so many hanging chains? I am very reluctant to go in the diving bell. Let's this way first, shall we?
What the hell? This isn't an oil rig, Mac. It's some kind of lab.
Yeah, I see it. It explains why there's no AIS. Yeah. They're operating off the grid out here.
But why?
Well, I think we have some ideas already. She actually won't walk very
Mac,
close to the
look
table.
at this. It looks ancient. Like a fossil.
And not human either. I like this place less and less.
Yeah, I was hoping to get her to like step right alongside it here, but she really this whole area is what do you call it? Non-traversable. Alright, let's see what's in this PDA. K. Elspeth, biochemist. Okay. I'm slowly growing accustomed to my condition following the unfortunate incident. In many ways, the noose hanging over my head has sharpened my intuition and emboldened my drive. I am beginning to accept that it was a necessary catastrophe that allowed me to push beyond my previous capabilities. The downside is that I have no one to consult on scientific matters. The other research staff here dawdle in minor work, while the rest are goons trained only in manual labor. My closest peer is the occult expert, Baron. Still, we are forbidden from addressing him directly or making eye contact, which is a ludicrous authoritarian move. Still, even in isolation, I have ideas. I've been thinking about how I can turn this curse of mine into a boon. I'm curious to see how it would affect other biomatter. Watching the cook sit at the edge of the platform and fish gave me an idea of where I could find suitable test samples. What do you think happened to her? Report. I may not have access to that sexy mule research, but my position affords me some perks, including shared samples. I have been analyzing a fascinating sample from Alpha's old Sheila project. Based on the generated model, its vestigial organs appeared to have no use. The eyes were hollow sacs of fluid, the legs were of different sizes. But Sheila is not the Holy Grail. It is merely an evolutionary stepping stone. The Terrapedia Saccharinensis 139 is our salvation, but it remains beyond my grasp as a mere Cain supplicant. Message to Kurt Darren. Mr. Darren, while I understand that proper procedure must be followed, your ignorance threatens my research and well-being. Unfortunately, corporate is currently preoccupied with organizing the Omega construction, so I'm forced to debase myself by going through you to obtain my injections. Don't confuse these for some farcical dietary supplements. Without them, the nanites in my blood would corrode my bones to the point of shattering, after which the same nanites would perpetually rebuild the shards into increasingly hideous forms. It is not a pleasant experience, nor one that correlates with a long life expectancy. If my calcium injections aren't on the next shipment, I will ensure that your contract is terminated and your mother is thrown to the gutters. Label these as the highest priority. My life and your continued employment depend on it. Okay, that's wild. How did that occur? How did you get packed full of nanites, and why is that the thing they're trying to do? I don't mean to gloat, but my work has yielded impressive results. The introduction of my nanites has revived cells within the bone marrow samples, and they continue to divide at a healthy rate. Moreover, the resultant growth continues to expand exponentially. It will soon be complex enough to allow for an initial biological analysis of the retrieved corpses. I managed to synthesize my very own PS-139 from the results brought here for Baron. Watching the bioculture mature fills me with pride and relief. It will mark my milestone achievement, one of the few I've managed since we first arrived, chasing those signals. I also admit to some dark pleasure in knowing I was right to stay, despite Dr. Alcabor's attempts to replace me with Dr. Yamada. Unfortunately, although predictably, others are covetous of success. Due to shifting scope, the experiment and all relevant documentation will be reallocated and escalated. Baron will be taking ownership, and the sample will be moved down to his lab. I doubt I'll get credit beyond a footnote. Fortunately, owing to my meticulous work process, I have copies of my work that I'll be keeping. If Kane isn't interested in giving credit where it's due, I'll find someone who is. Okay, so the reverence for Kane is less than universal. I've made contact with an old friend on the mule. He is eager to share his findings with me. Message to Sid Mason, who we know to be dead, right? We know, I mean, everybody's dead, but we know that somebody else had written a message about Sid being dead. Listen here, you little bilge turd. I will personally report you to Baron if you improperly dispose of my specimens again. I won't have the baseborn interfering with company business. I should have you thrown in the brig. I demand to know who else was involved. So, a couple of interesting things here. I mean, first of all of the text. Secondly, no remotely deleted logs. What does that portend exactly? I don't know. But it's true. It's a thing. The wall tiling brings to mind the type of rundown laundromats found in seedy parts of town. Whoever worked here seemed to have left in a hurry, leaving papers strewn and specimens abandoned mid-analysis. Okay, so there's this skeleton, which, let's see, around 1100 millimeters. Body is riddled with insect bite marks. Well, not something. The subject have several residual... Is that a bee? Most notable something. Some sort of binding on the bones. This binding may be the cause of some increased... okay. So, we don't know what the deal is with this skeleton. Obviously, it's curious. We'll just take a picture here and come back. It'll last longer, as they say. I've got a row of transparent dividers separating this room from the next. While they do little to bar entry, they convey that only those with valid credentials or equipment are permitted beyond. Both the walls and floor are covered in thick padding, presumably to offer protection to any valuable or fragile items of interest brought in for study. Unfortunately, leaking water has soaked into the padding, and the sounds and sensation of walking across are not pleasant. Like wading through putrid marshmallow.
Charlie, what in Kane is is that?
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's ancient. And doesn't have anything to do with Kane.
Maybe. A large coin-shaped disc dominates this side of the room. Boy, does it. The quality with which the stone has been sculpted suggests it was made with modern-day equipment, though the numerous symbols emblazoned on the surface do not resemble any glyphs you recognize. Also, you know, the skull... We're just not going to talk about the skull. That's not important. Over here, a cage of carved bone wraps around a black monolith of unknown origin. Cover stone notes redacted. A volcanic rock we have only found on the redacted. Redacted carvings made from an advanced redacted instrument. Ooh. What was that sound?
Huh. Look at these drawings.
I like these. They are pretty.
You and I have very different definitions of pretty, Bear.
I mean, there's a sort of geometric prettiness to it, I guess. Also, you know, broadly, I'm like pretty pro skull. Just go ahead and get a picture of that, too. This big, heavy clamp that they've got it in. Huh. The room is cold and unmoving, but the machinery is warm and ready to receive input from personnel who will never work in this slaughterhouse again. A genetic sequencer. Oh. I am reluctant to touch any of this. So we're allowed to interact with the disk drive or the buttons on this thing. I'm gonna not do that for the moment. Various documents and scrawled notes blanket portions of the workstations, otherwise populated by a collection of archaic occult textbooks, academic journals, and digital cassettes. Penetrating photographs of the sarcophagus have been shuffled amongst the paperwork. The images reveal a deformed body encased in the stone prison. Okay, with the proportion, at least like head and limb proportions that seem to resemble the skeleton in the other room. Well, now that's fun. A long curtain of plastic sheeting surrounds the interior, operating rooms or quarantine facilities. Neither association is a pleasant implication. Yeah. Well, this is really something. I'm gonna leave now. All of a sudden, I would rather be in the diving bell. Okay, mapping drones, continuing to map.
Wow. The diving bell is huge. I mean, this thing can take an enormous amount of pressure.
How far down do you think they were going?
With equipment like this, deep. Very deep.
And then everything shakes ominously. Huh. So we've got a diagram of the system for lowering and raising this. Just the sounds of waves lapping at the edges of the walkway echo through the room. Ah, boy. In comparison to the surroundings, the diving bell operator's terminal appears to be rather antiquated. However, appearances can be deceiving. I mean, if I touch this, the bad thing's going to happen, right?
Can you hack that?
Not by myself. Moses, I'm gonna need your help here.
My Charlie.
Okay, a blank data disk. Let's, Alright, ping shows nothing. Let's back off here. This whole place is shaking just often enough for me to think maybe we should, in fact, be leaving. So, Didn't realize they still use these old discs anymore. However, I do know they can hold a tremendous amount of data. Well... Huh. Put the DNA sample in the thing? I don't think we have... Yeah, I don't have a... Okay, so there's a 4-digit unlock code, is that right? Yeah. If I'm looking for a 4-digit numerical code... So there's a thing up there that ends with 09... 77595 maybe, but obviously that's 5 numbers.
I need the code for this thing. I always write mine down, in spite of Moses's cautioning on password protection.
Yeah, I mean, it's a video game. This is how this shit works, right? Everybody always writes everything down and keeps it directly next to the thing that it's supposed to be the code for. Ah, okay, 181809? Is this, are we seeing the other half of the rubbing from... Yeah, I think that's 1809. Well, let's try that. Cool. Ew, I'm sure I saw the amorphous blob move. I suspect they grew this from the bone marrow extract of that weird-looking skeleton. Hold on just a second, you know what we must do. Sticky fun. Hope would love to play with it. So I'm really curious what Mac thinks of it as well. Where on God's green earth did Charlie find this thing? Is that an eye? Oh, I swear it has an eye. Okay, well, we'll just put it in the... Right? Okay, and now I've got a disk full of genetic data. Cool. Hey, buddy. Would you like this? I think even if you wouldn't, perhaps the sentry gun would. Okay, now if we can just get this thing powered up, it'll shoot at that tumor. In case that becomes an issue. Which suggests that we should, with the situation as we have it, like, I must be able to do more, right? Still don't exactly know what to make of this. Managed to get the genetic sequence, which is probably all these documents are about. I'm wondering if I can, in fact, repair the, if I can, in fact, repair the battery charger with just what we have right now. So it's really not clear to me what I'm supposed to be getting from this elevator diagram. Like, I know how a thing goes up and down. That's not useful information. And this text is definitely too small to read. Mobile underwater laboratory environment. Mule. Alright, I didn't really try opening this, but I don't really want to until we have that figured out. So hold on a second. I can't plug this in here. No, okay. And that's the only item that any of us have. No, I also have this screwdriver. Yep, I can't just form a rough connection between the wires. So I'm missing something critical. I'm so leery of opening this door before we have the sentry gun operational. Huh. Alright, give me the tools, buddy. Neither of these things are sufficient to use as a pry bar, I guess. She wants Mose to come to her, but I'm not going to be able to get over there, am I? No, I'm not even allowed to leave this area. So if I were to go over there, it would be through the through this door that we don't know how to open. Hold on, out of curiosity, the fact that it still shows me this when I approach the grate. Okay, no, I can't continue to play with the switch, and I can't, more importantly, harvest parts from anything there. That was what I was really wondering. Alright, nothing here is interactable anymore, not a big surprise there. Yeah, the worst is yet to come, right? The worst is going to be when we get to the mule. I can't believe I'm trying to figure out a way to do that. Alright, so how am I going to have... How am I going to have Mose get down here to lend assistance? I feel like we've gotten whatever is of value out of every interactable that it seems like we can currently reach. Unless there's somewhere I can get with Mac now that the power's on. And like, yeah, I haven't really looked around with Mac since we got the bulkhead doors cycling and stuff. Roaring to life, the gas turbine sends power to the rest of the rig through an intricate network of conduits. So yeah, let me see if there's anywhere I can get to now that I couldn't get to before. Okay, this interactable is just that PDA. I don't think there's going to be anything up here because I certainly can't fit through that door. Okay, I'm allowed to pull the fuse now because we don't need this to power the door anymore. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we could go put the fuse back in the battery thing. But unfortunately, there is no way for Mac to get any deeper into the facility at the moment. All right. All yours, Mr. Bear.
Something has activated behind me. Something colourful. Hope loved colours.
Oh, I see. I see. So now we've got this thing attuned to the biology of this mass. We'll just take the mass back out and hand it to the bear, stick it on the spikes on the door. Yeah. Gross. Okay, I should step out of the way. Hello. A ghostly visage floats in silence above the hollow table. It appears to show a man-made structure on the ocean floor. That's pretty fucking deep.
What the hell was that?
I opened the door.
A door? What'd you use, dynamite?
Guns are not toys, Mac.
He has a gun now?
What are you complaining about? He didn't shoot you.
Not yet.
I am a very smart bear now.
No, you know what? I think Mac's in the right on this one. I'm concerned. Okay, so now that we're feeding power to this thing, it's giving us very concerning information, including an awful lot of red on the readout. And also, I've started a fire inside the station. So basically, everything's coming up very smart bear. I think that right there is maybe an okay place to leave it for the moment. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you are into this, like, slow burn horror thing that's going on here, because I sure as hell am. When you come back next time, I think we're probably going to start seeing... I think things are going to get even more grim. This is where the bad stuff starts happening. And I am looking forward with trepidation, I guess. I hope you are as well, and we'll see you then.